TJ here, struggling through another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. Given the current events of this past week, it sure looks like one way or another, Biden's going to be weaseling his way into the White House, or should I say Kamala Harris will be weaseling her way into the White House. I've thought back and reflected in my life what I've been through, what I've seen, what I've witnessed, where I've been, all of which has brought me to where I am today politically. And what I mean by this is, and let's go back to the 1980s. I was in the Army. I got out of the Army, honorably discharged from the Army in 1989. But while I was in the Army, I got to go to the jungle. I got to see the desert. And even though I don't think I talked about this in any of my previous videos, I got to fight forest fires in the mountains of Wyoming and Montana. And Montana's got the state saying big sky country because when you're up in the mountains, that's all you see is sky. I was in Germany for 3 years and got to go on multiple surveillance missions along the East German border. I can tell you I've been within 3 inches of East Germany when the fences were up. I got to see the little white crosses where people were gunned down because people in the East Germany were attempting to flee oppression and were gunned down on the border before they were able to make it to the west side. While I was in the Army, I was pretty much not involved politically. I was unaware of what had happened to Robert Bork in 1987. It wasn't until I got out of the Army and began to get politically up to speed that I had come to understand what being borked meant. It was in 1991, and I mentioned this in a previous video in 1991, how they attempted to assassinate the character of Clarence Thomas. I couldn't believe how they slandered that guy. And I always reference to that's what kind of got me aware of what was happening. Holy cow, if they could do it to him, they could do it to me. No problem. And then when Bill Clinton was running for president in 1992, Bill Clinton's running for president, and it became known that he had protested this country while he was a student in England. And while he was in England, he was protesting the United States, and I thought, no way would this country elect to put someone into the office of president who had protested this country overseas. Boy, was I wrong. Another wake-up call for me personally. I thought, no way. I was wrong. Fast forward to 2000, when Gore tried to steal the election from Bush in the Florida hanging Chad thing. Just another example of these people are going to do what they can. And while I wouldn't call it a wake-up call, it was an out-and-out confirmation. And if that wasn't confirmation enough, you had 2008 with the Al Franken through the Minnesota recount stealing that election. I always reference in 2011 when Herman Cain was in the nomination season, the process of trying to become the Republican nominee for president, and how rumors became known and circulated about. And I have always suspected a Republican insider did that. And how Republicans would assassinate their own and then turn around and be so timid with the Democrats. Another observation on my part. Then in 2015, Donald Trump. And I'm ready. I'm ready for someone like that guy. I never imagined he'd do it. But when he came on the scene, and yeah, at first, initially I was a Ted Cruz guy, but then eventually I realized, hey, Donald Trump's the fighter we need. And how they tried all their dirty tricks on him, and with each fail of all the tricks they tried, the rhetoric ramps up more and more and more. As we know, Donald Trump won that election, the 2016 election. But so began the accusations. He stole the election. He colluded with Russia. He colluded with Ukraine. The phony Steele dossier. The trumped up, pardon the pun, the trumped up impeachment hearing. The 4 years the Democrats and the inside the Beltway never Trump Republicans, the 4 years they all spent destroying the guy, and you could say us in the process. I will always believe this year's election, 2020, will have been stolen, assuming Biden's successful. A sitting incumbent president just doesn't lose an election when his own party gains seats in the House of Representatives. That will be my fallback position in this debate. That just doesn't happen. Combine that with the fact that President Trump had the highest percentage of minority vote of any previous Republican, they estimate, going back at least 60 years. I'm disgusted. I don't know what to say or do at this point. I don't have an answer for you right now. I'm going to have to think some more. And obviously, that's going to have to be in another segment. I would like to end with a quote from an old-time Southern evangelist. I don't think many people may know this guy. Old-time Southern evangelist by the name of Dr. Bob Jones Sr. once said in a sermon, "The test of your character is what it takes to stop you." As always, be safe. Watch your six. And don't tread on me.